Hi everyone, it's Stephanie from Guiding Force Consulting, and today I want to take a few minutes to talk through the integration with two of the most popular email service providers, MailChimp and Constant Contact. I want to go over what they do and don't do and give you a very brief demo of how it works. So the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between the two different providers. The Constant Contact integration is really simple. You can connect it in just a couple of quick seconds, really. And you don't have to have any special licenses. You don't have to use up any of your 10 free users. You don't have to use an integration license. It is really, really fast. The only thing you have to have is the email opt out field on your contact record. That's it. So it's very, very easy to do. The one caveat I will say is that the Constant Contact and Salesforce integration is one way. So what that means is you can take information from Salesforce and push it into Constant Contact. That's it. You cannot take information from Constant Contact and push it into Salesforce. So if people join your email list and it goes right to Constant Contact, that won't be pushed into Salesforce. Of course, there's workarounds because there's workarounds for everything. So you can use Zapier to create a Zap and get that going. And there's other integrations on the market. I'm only talking about native integrations here right now. Alternatively, MailChimp has a two-way integration. So what that means is you can take information from Salesforce and push it into MailChimp and vice versa. So as people join your mailing list or are added from another tech tool that you use, those can also be pushed into Salesforce. So I'm going to focus today on this video with MailChimp because it's a more robust integration and it's a lot more exciting to look at and see what it can do. I created a brand new MailChimp account today, the free version, nothing special, and I attached it to my Guiding Force demo org. So what that means is all the information is fake and the setup is fake. It's just to show how things work. So let's dive in. So before this demo, I installed the MailChimp connector through the Salesforce App Exchange. If you go to the App Exchange and you look for MailChimp connector, be sure to download the one that is produced by MailChimp. And then once I downloaded that connector, you, again, don't have to use any licenses. You don't have to have any integration licensing. You don't have to install anything special. Basically, you put that connector to your Salesforce org, and that's what's needed. Now, if you are playing with this in the sandbox, don't forget that any emails that are real, legitimate emails will be sent. So take a little caution as you're playing with the settings. So when you go to Salesforce after everything is done installing, you're going to put in MC setup. That's MailChimp setup in your app launcher. And this is what's going to show up. It's going to have you walk through a couple basic settings. So the first thing, it'll ask you to connect to your audience. As you can see, I've already done that here. In your sync setting, you can pick keep all activity. That's going to show who opens emails, who clicks on them, who's subscribed, all the information for all time. That could be a lot of data if you have a really big database. So keep that in mind. And if you're not going to use the information, don't keep it. It's just taking up space. So if you don't mind going into MailChimp and tracking it there, that's great. Just be careful what you select and be intentional about it. You could select to keep the activity for a certain period of time, to only track your subscribers, or if this is an old list, you could put do not sync to be clear that you don't want this information going either direction. I put keep all activity because I only have about 40 subscribers in my database with emails. You can also decide whether or not you want to create leads for MailChimp. So what that means is if you have a form on your website and somebody subscribes, they go into MailChimp. Maybe you don't want them going directly into Salesforce as a contact, but you would rather they land in the leads section so you can steward them and mine them, whatever your reasoning is. If that's the case, you'll turn this toggle on. I find that most people in nonprofit space aren't really using leads as much, so I'm going to keep that unchecked for now. And then once you have that set up, you're going to click map your fields. I'm not mapping the lead section, as you can see, because we're not using that, but I did map my contacts. You can also add in a new audience field. So if you're tracking something specific in Salesforce that you want to exist in MailChimp as well, maybe it's an anniversary of their giving or something special, you can create that and type in the information and add the field. I don't have anything specific like that, so I'm not going to do that. So once you're done mapping the fields, you'll go ahead and hit sync my audience. This is going to sync everyone that is considered your subscribers into MailChimp. A couple of the other pieces of information that are really helpful and kind of cool. You have member queries. So if you create a new query, you can filter. You can pick the audience that you want it to go into. Again, I only have one. You can also pick one of the tags that exists, or you can create a new tag. And then you're going to decide if you want to pull the query of leads, contacts, or campaign members. So if you have people that are in campaigns because they went to an event, you can pull them specifically, whatever makes sense for you, or several of these options. I'm going to say that I want their email not equal to blank. So don't pull people that don't have an email. And then I'm also going to add in, let's see, maybe I want their best. Let's do something broad because I don't have a lot of contacts. So I have to be careful. Let's say I want their total gifts to be greater than $10. And this is an and situation, not or. So be careful with that part of it. And then I'm going to hit next, and it's going to give me a preview of all the people that come up in this list. Right now, these are all subscribed because I actually synced my entire list. But if you didn't sync your entire list first, you wouldn't see them subscribed. I'm still going to run this though, because I want them to be tagged with that cultivation tag. So I'm going to hit next. I'm going to give this a name. If I want this to run every day, I can, or I can only have it run the one time. Let's say we're going to do it every day at midnight. We're going to save and run this query. And then it'll take just a couple of minutes. It'll tell you here if you refresh the page to see if the process is completed. So the last status just said scheduled. If I refresh that, it'll say success, and it actually added 21 people. So I'm going to go to my MailChimp audience. I'm going to go to tags, and here's my cultivation contacts. It should have people here if this worked. And it does. So it has 23 contacts. This said it added 21, so 2 must have already been in the system. And now I had everything go from Salesforce into MailChimp. Again, if you have this audience set up on a regular sync, all the information from MailChimp will also go into Salesforce. This will show you a list of all your campaigns that you have in MailChimp. It's brand new. I haven't sent any emails out, so I don't have any campaigns. But if I did, it would list those here and tell you how many were sent, how many clicks, opens, unsubscribes, things like that. And then don't forget at the very last piece where settings that you click the data sync. That's going to make sure the data is talking back and forth. So this is a very high overview of how the MailChimp integration works. You can also add some MailChimp fields over to your contact record that'll talk about subscriber statuses. All right, so I added in the MailChimp subscriber field to my contact record. Now I can see what the email that is used in MailChimp and what lists they've been added to. So this is going to be very helpful in seeing really quickly if they're talking to MailChimp, is it working, what list are they on? And You can also add in an email opt-out button here, and that will update that as well if somebody chooses to opt out of their email. I didn't add that into the screen because it's a demo, but that's another field that you can use. So hopefully you found this quick tutorial helpful and understanding how some of your technology can talk back and forth to one another, what the capabilities are. If you need help with setting this up, this is something really simple that typically our team can do within a couple of hours. So reach out anytime to learn more. Also check out all of our services at guidingforceconsulting.com. Take care.